This recording is spiritual frequency, and this is section C. Section C of spiritual frequency. In this section, we are going to talk about actually working with the frequencies of all four of your components once you have woken up. This does not apply to people that are dormant and are asleep. Now, if you know anything about Qi and about internal aspects, especially Kung Fu, this is going to make a lot of very good sense to you because those disciplines that deal in that, and they're really rare these days, almost non-existent. They are there, but they're almost non-existent. They deal heavily in this field that we're going to talk about right now. One very, very, very seriously great way, not even good, great and excellent way to work with the energies of your four components and to bring them up so that they actually come in line and in accord with the frequencies of the universal energy. That would be the righteousness system, by the way, if you've been paying attention, is meditation. Meditation. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about meditation because meditation is so old to this planet. Nobody actually knows where it came from and how it got here. It's part of the teachings of light on this planet from a long, 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 long time ago. How long? Nobody knows. But think of ancient and then go way back past that and maybe you'll have a rough idea. Been here since the teachings of light ever started appearing on this planet. I mean, long, long time ago, okay? From before the time of the Great Flood, okay? They have been these teachings. They were just couched differently. Today, they are what they are today. Today, let's look at them from the time of, the last 5,000, 6,000 years. Since those days, they have always been here, and they are in the forms that we know of today. These things are incredibly, incredibly great tools. Great tools. These are in the form of tools. Tools for you. And it is my great suspicion, actually it's beyond a suspicion, I kind of know, but I can't say how I know, so it all sounds too crazy. So I'm going to call it a suspicion, just to save myself from problems. But it is my great suspicion that these things are put here at the same time as the teachings of light, and that they are for tuning the humans. They're for tuning the humans. Now, it's a vast, massive system and discipline, and it's called meditation. Every culture has some every culture has some different idea and different word for it. But in English-speaking planet Earth today, this stuff is called meditation. Meditation is crucially beneficial for you. The only reason you do not know that, and the only reason you scoff, oh my God, meditation, if you're from the generation of baby boomer and before, is because religion, organized religion, especially Christianity, has put you off this stuff from a long time ago because they consider it and a threat to their monopoly. Their monopoly no longer exists in this time, but in the generation I'm talking about, it was very much in swing and in power. Okay, so if you are from one of those generations, don't think you'll be looking at meditation without listening to all the programming in your mind of, oh my God, it's horrible wickedness. It's from the East. Run for your lives! Ah! That's going to be bouncing around in your head, okay? Now, hopefully you're a millennial or even a Generation Xer and you don't have to deal with that foolishness of those ideologies bouncing around in your head, and we could just get down to business, because I plan to get down to business and just talk about this stuff. I'm not going to try and justify it. It just is what it is. It is a fantastic tool for altering the frequencies of the energies and the frequencies of each of your 4 components, and for bringing all of the components up into alignment. Now, as I said, this is for people that have already woken up. They have already decided, because of the free will thing, they have already decided, okay, I'm going to activate this thing in me. Okay, that's a little sound meaning, okay, now you're activated. Okay, it's kind of stupid, but hey, follow along, all right? Okay, so this is for the activated human, the human that's already activated. If you're not activated, this might be a little beyond your reach. However, there's lots of activated people, and there's lots of people that understand. I know what meditation is. They don't really know what authentic ancient meditation is and the effects it brings. But they have a good idea. Here's what meditation is. You just sit and kind of like think of nothing, right? Yeah, kind of. But we're going to take this a little deeper, okay? Now, I'm going to have to give my books and some of my DVDs a plug in this. So, am I going to call this a shameless plug? No, because it's sort of a necessity if you want to tap into some very old ancient stuff that actually works and brings you super fast results that really do work. That you look at the materials that I have already put on this planet, that I've already written, and that I have already done years ago. They do work, they are effective, and they have affected a lot of people in very positive ways thus far. Now, hopefully you go over to the books page and the DVD page and the stuff page and all of that stuff and look at them. At the time I'm making this, I don't have some of those pages I mentioned are not active because I'm just building this at the time I'm making this recording. However, eventually they will all be there. What is there now is the books page, and in the books page you're going to find several books. If you listen to what each of those books are about, anything that says meditation in it, or anything that talks about meditation or says meditation included, don't be stupid. Hurry up and get your bid in and buy the damn thing. I'm not joking. All of this stuff is really important to you, for your empowerment, for your life, for the best your life that you can have. Not everybody's destined for the same life. I'm not a millionaire, okay? I'm not like rolling in money and you know, flying all over the world. That wasn't my life. That's not what I was supposed to be doing. I was out doing things where I must understand the universe and all of that stuff. I must plug into and find out what the real universal this and that actually, that was my life. My life is bizarre and strange. It's a very unusual life. The good part of that is I'm actually putting the things I've learned, everything I've learned, I'm actually putting into this planetary project. So instead of letting it all go to waste, a lifetime of discovery, I'm not going to do that. I'm giving it away to people that actually want to find out, wow, you mean there's something to life on Earth? Yes. Yes, there is. Okay. Now let's start with taking a look at frequency, just frequency by itself, so we can get a good idea of this. Because it really is a physics thing. It's a thing that stretches from here's what's going on inside of an atom, the building block of all of life. Atoms clump together and make molecules. Molecules clump together and make cells. Well, this is the essence of structure in the physical world, okay? So when we say something in the ideas of physics, everything is frequency. It is very real, talking very real, thinking very big thinking. Everything is frequency. Of course, everything is frequency, because in the physical world, the world of physiology, and we're going to get to the other three components as well, but in the world of physiology, that's the body part, the physical part of your four components. The atom itself holds force, and the force emits a frequency. That's why let me restate that. That's why not all atoms are the same. Because when the atoms come into existence, what makes them this kind of atom as opposed to that kind of atom is actually the frequency vibrational signature that's carried when they're formed. That's why you can't take the atom of, I don't know, let's say an air, the atoms of air, an air particle, and say, okay, well, we're going to take this air particle and it's going to eventually turn into a fish. No, it's not. It's not going to turn into a fish, because the force and the vibrational frequency of that atom is designed into that thing where it becomes air particles, okay? See how that works? Now, that's kind of an iffy definition, but that should give you a rough idea of how it works. So in the ideas of physics, in the world of physics, in the world of science, in the world of real reality, of physicality, physical world, one of your physical four components, the idea that vibrational frequency is the essence of everything. This is very real, very tangible. This is not an esoteric idea. This isn't like, oh, that's hoodoo, voodoo, shoodoo, whatever. That's hooey. No, I'm sorry, it isn't. Crack open a physics book. People hate to read. So that's a bad idea. How about talk to a physicist? Go find some audios given by some physicists on this very subject, and they will confirm this. Google it. Google it, okay? Google's going to be your best friend in the 21st century, except for the stuff when they capture your information and blah, 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 but that's all for another tape. Anyway, this stuff is real. It's just the real world. And those frequencies have signatures. And what I mean by that, what I mean by signature, is they resonate and vibrate at a frequency. And that process is called a signature. I call it a signature. Let me put it to you that way, because a lot of people don't. I call it, this is the signature of that frequency. Because each one of those is very individual. All right? Now, because this is the religion spiritual page, and that's what all of these recordings are geared toward, in terms of that, we are going to look at these frequencies and signatures in terms of religion, spirituality. That's what we're going to do. So, to get a bigger picture, a picture of this, go to consciousness and energy, and we're going to talk about this from a bigger level. But this is directed toward religion and spirituality. So we're going to look at it at that level. Now, let's say, okay, the human's awake. Thank God the human is awake! Hooray! Everybody applaud. Yay! Okay, another human wakes up. Thank God. All right, now, the human's like, okay, I'm awake. I'm beginning to see. That's called the beginning of the path to enlightened states. Depending on what religion you come from, they're going to couch it in different terminology, but it actually means the same thing. Now, here's the deal. You have 4 components. Now, we talked about the physiological component, the component of physiology, also called the body component. Now, let's quickly go over the other 3 because each of these has their own set of frequencies. Now, we got to work with these frequencies and bring them up to the same decibel, for lack of a better word. We're going to bring them all up to equal levels. That's part of, not only am I awake, but now I want to empower myself. Not only do I want to empower myself, but wherever this flow is coming from that is now flowing through me that I was not experiencing prior to this because I was dormant, because I was not activated, and because I was asleep. Now that I'm awake, I feel this stuff going on, and that stuff is the cosmic realm. That is the realm of God. That is the realm of the creative force. That is the realm of creation. That is the realm of, to put this in religious spiritual words, this is the abode of God Almighty, Amen. Okay? So we're going to look at that. And the reason we're going to look at that is because that is what you want to tune yourself towards. Now, please, 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 if you have not looking at one of the Here and Now 6 main pages, check out the one that says Gold Standard, because that gives you a quick, super fast definition of, you might not think it's super fast because it's a couple of hours of recordings, but it gives you a quick, super fast definition of, here is what the righteousness system is. And yes, it is the same righteousness system that is in our Bibles. It's the same righteousness system that the Jews talk about. It's the same righteousness system that all of these ancient cultures talk about. They use different words because they have a different language. It's the same system. And it is the system of oneness. And that is what we want to tune into, because that's where God and all of the emanations are flowing into you from, so you can affect the here and now planet. Do not forget. Do not forget. Primal information here. Do not forget. The nature of humans is to create paradigms in their wake. If you're dealing with a bunch of enlightened, very seriously plugged into the divine realm humans, what kind of paradigms do you think those kind of humans are going to create? Or the opposite of that, if you're dealing with a bunch of dormant, ideologically brainwashed humans that live in the world system where their power is being siphoned off and siphoned away from them to feed something else because of the virus and the illness, what kind of paradigm do you think those kind of human beings are going to create in their wake? You see the difference here? Because it's very important that you see the difference so you understand the whys and the wherefores. It's important that you see the difference between a dormant human that is asleep, a walking zombie. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of a zombie movie. A walking a walking zombie type human that just is dormant and their head is just bouncing around like popcorn popping, bouncing around their skulls of massive ideologies, religious ideologies, societal ideologies, political ideologies, all kinds of ideologies. I mean, this planet is so polluted, so virused up with ideologies. You can't throw a stone and not hit some conglomeration of ideologies. It could be anything from the liberal next door. Well, I'm college educated. Well, that means you went through a brainwashing system. Congratulations. You know, that's not talking about all college educated people. I actually went to college. So maybe I shouldn't use that as a terminology. However, hopefully you get my point here. But that could be anything from the ideologies bouncing around your head rather from college, or it could be some tree hugging thing where, oh my God, the ice caps are all going to melt and we're all going to die tomorrow. Quick, give all your money and all your power away to some government UN thing or EU thing or some governmental entity so they can control everything, because if we don't fix it now, we're all gonna die. That's another ideology, okay? You cannot turn on the television, you cannot turn on the radio and get your head filled up and not get your head plugged into some form of ideologies. Not in this day and time. This is the 21st century. Okay, and I'm getting sidetracked. So let me get back to the frequency, vibrational frequency of the 4 components. Now let's look at the other 3 components really quick, because each one of them carries their version of a vibrational frequency set point. And what is a set point again? A set point is sort of like, well, it's not even sort of like, it actually is, where you have managed to get your frequency thus far. Some people have a low set point, and if we build a graph built on the idea of light and light particles, that would be somewhere in the infrared. Now we're using extremes because with extremes it's quick to see things. We're using extremes. The lowest frequency is infrared. The highest frequency is ultraviolet. And then, beyond that, light rays we actually cannot see. Gamma, X, all that stuff, okay? But using that chart so our brains can have something to wrap around low frequency and high frequency. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So you have people of low frequency and they have a certain set point. Their set point is like, that's basically where they're going to come from. Low frequency people. They're not vibrant. They are sort of dormant. Then you have high frequency people. They're very vibrant people, because the energies and the frequencies that they are in alignment with are high energy. In other words, they're closer to the creative source. Okay, so that's how when you apply this graph in your head of, let's say, light rays, then higher frequency light rays are closer to ultraviolet, and you can look at it like that. Of course, you can use any chart you want. This is the one that I came up with because it's light. It's talking about light, as in I am the light of the world, that sort of thing. So it really fits this spiritual religion thing very well. So you see, so that's why I use that chart. So that's basically what it is. Now the other 3 the other 3 components. So you have the body, which we already talked about, the mind, that deals with all the consciousness Stuff you think subconsciously, stuff that's bouncing around in your head that you aren't even aware of subconsciously. All of that is part of your consciousness, and that has a set point also. So when I say bring your frequencies up, I'm actually talking about change your set point to something higher and 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 higher until it resonates at the frequency. In other words, it's in accord, it's in tune with the frequency of what the divine, in other words, the cosmic force that actually creates, because this is spiritual, religious, this will make good sense to you. Bring it to that frequency that resonates at that frequency, okay? Then you have the idea of, well, this is closer to God. Closer to God. But what does that really mean? Well, we're describing what it really means, and we talk about set points. That's what it really means. Now, we don't know this because this is part of the information that got thrown out. This is part of the righteousness system that got transformed to mean, okay, we're going to give you the kindergarten version. Righteousness means to be good, because if you don't be good, you're going to burn in hell, boy. You know, that's no. Stop that. Stop thinking that stupid crap. That belongs to the world of ideology, religious ideology. That's just another form of ideology, okay? Now, so bringing the set point up, and we can use meditation as a tool to bring the set point up. But bringing the set point up, the highest level possible is the level that actually is in perfect attunement and perfect accord with the system of righteousness. That's if you are a human alive on planet Earth. Now, is it easy to get there? No, heck no, not at all, not in the slightest. But is it possible? Yes. Yes, it is. It is possible. And I guarantee you, if you are on the path of some enlightened path, or you are on the path of, I want to be one with all that is, or I want to be one with God. Believe me, for some moment of time, at least one time, you have felt it. You have felt it. You're going to call it, I'm having a religious experience, or I'm having a spiritual experience, or I'm having this, or that's what you're going to call it. But you have experienced it already, at least one time, for one moment. It could have lasted seconds of time. It could last months of time. But this is what that means, to bring your set point to that level where you're walking around on this planet. And of course, you're creating paradigms in your wake, but your paradigms are really changing things and passing out light and bringing light everywhere it goes, because you're emanating that stuff, because it's flowing through you. Holy criminy. I hope this makes sense. I hope this makes sense. Okay, this thing is getting long, so I'm going to finish these other components in the next one. So we're going to go to the next one right